Sheloran stood at the edge of the massive spaceport, his heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The Terran Republic Space Academy was nothing like the dusty mining colony where he grew up. The air buzzed with advanced technology and the quiet hum of countless starships preparing for launch. Tall towers of glass and steel stretched toward the sky, and alien beings of all shapes and colors moved gracefully among humans. Their conversations filled with strange words and unfamiliar accents. Sheloran's eyes scanned the crowd, knowing this was the place where he would either prove himself or fade into obscurity. Coming from a small, forgotten world, he was aware that many looked down on him and others from his colony. They whispered that Terrans from backwater places lacked the skills or the mind to keep up with the galaxy's best. But Sheloran held a fire inside him, a hope that human resilience and quick thinking could surprise even the most skeptical. His first days at the academy were a whirlwind of strange classes and difficult tasks. From learning to pilot ships that seemed far beyond anything he had touched before to understanding the complex social customs of other species, often he found himself struggling to fit in, feeling the weight of the silent judgment in the eyes of some of his peers. One particular moment stayed with him during a team exercise, where a squad had to solve a technical problem with their training. Vessels, systems. While others panicked, Sheloran noticed a small but critical detail that everyone else missed: a misaligned energy conduit that threatened to cause a cascade failure. His quick report helped the instructors fix the issue before it grew worse, earning him nods of approval, but also curious glances. Despite this small victory, the path ahead was far from easy. Sheloran knew he had to work harder and smarter than anyone else, but he also understood that being human gave him a unique edge. His mind could make leaps in logic that others found unusual, and his curiosity pushed him to ask questions no one else dared to consider. There was a quiet confidence in him, though it was often masked by moments of doubt late at night when the vastness of space and the enormity of the challenge before him felt overwhelming. One day, as he wandered through the Academy's vast library, he overheard a group of upperclassmen speaking in low tones about an upcoming selection for a secret exploratory program. The program was said to choose only the most exceptional cadets for missions that would shape the future of the Republic. Sheloran's curiosity was instantly piqued, but he also sensed the danger of hope. Many had tried and failed to be selected, and some had vanished without explanation after being chosen. Determined not to be left behind, he spent hours studying the stars, learning alien languages, and practicing his skills until exhaustion threatened to take him. Slowly, his efforts began to change how others saw him. A few classmates started asking for his help during group exercises, and even some instructors began to acknowledge his clever ideas. Yet the feeling that he was still an outsider never fully left him. He often wondered if it was his Terran heritage that made him different, or if the Academy's expectations were simply too high for anyone who did not come from a powerful or wealthy background. Then came a moment that would mark a turning point, during a simulation meant to test diplomacy and quick decision-making. Sheloran was paired with an alien cadet from a species known for its strict logic and little patience for what they called human unpredictability. The scenario quickly escalated as the simulation presented unexpected crises. And while the alien tried to stick rigidly to the rules, Sheloran's instincts told him to improvise. Trusting his gut, he suggested a risky but creative solution that involved rerouting power in a way no one had tried before. The alien cadet was skeptical, but agreed to follow his lead. When the simulation ended with a successful resolution, the instructors were silent for a moment before breaking into rare applause. Sheloran saw, for the first time, genuine respect in his partner's eyes, respect not just for his actions, but for the unique human spirit that refused to be boxed in by limits. That night, as he looked out at the stars from his small dorm window, Sheloran felt a spark of something new, the possibility that he could belong here, that the Terran Republic might not just be a place for the elite, but a place where someone like him could rise and shape the future. Yet deep inside, he knew the real tests were still ahead. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and challenges that would demand every ounce of his courage, wit, and heart. Sheloran's journey was just beginning. and he was ready to prove that being human was not a weakness, but a strength unlike any other. Sheloran stepped into the heart of the Academy's training complex, a place where dreams and fears collided. Beneath the hum of countless machines designed to push cadets to their limits, the rigorous training program was unlike anything he had imagined, filled with intense zero-gravity simulations that challenged his body and mind in ways no mining rig ever had. Floating weightlessly in the simulator chamber, Sheloran struggled to control his movements, fighting the urge to panic as the program threw unexpected obstacles in his path. Outside the simulation room, the hum of voices drifted in alien cadets, discussing strategies in their own languages, some harsh and clipped, others melodic and soft. Interspecies diplomacy classes brought new challenges. Sheloran found himself navigating conversations with creatures whose customs were so different they sometimes seemed impossible to understand. He learned quickly that a polite gesture in one culture could be an insult in another, and that patience was as important as knowledge. Engineering tests demanded more than memorization. They required creativity and precision, often under tight time limits. One day, while working on a complex system designed to stabilize the Academy's power grid during simulated emergencies, Sheloran noticed something: a regular spike in the system's feedback loop that no one else seemed to detect. Before he could alert the instructors, the training module suddenly shut down, plunging the entire complex into silence and darkness. The sudden failure caused murmurs and anxious whispers among the cadets, and some began blaming faulty equipment or poor maintenance. But Sheloran's mind raced, piecing together the small clues he had observed. He stayed calm, moving quickly to locate the source of the malfunction despite the growing tension around him. Cadets nervously watched from safe zones. Sheloran found that a damaged relay was causing a chain reaction, risking a complete shutdown of the training program, if not repaired soon. With steady hands and clear instructions, he coordinated with his teammates to reroute power and replace the relay, storing systems just in time before the instructors called off the exercise. The relief among the cadets was palpable, but what surprised Sheloran most was the change in how his peers looked at him afterward. Some who had once doubted his abilities nodded in quiet approval, while others offered brief words of encouragement. Even the alien cadet from the previous diplomacy simulation gave him a respectful nod, acknowledging his steady leadership in the crisis. The incident did not make everything easy. Sheloran still faced moments of self-doubt and the weight of expectations, but it marked a turning point, proof that calm thinking and teamwork could overcome not just technical problems, but the invisible walls of prejudice and doubt. Each day brought new challenges, endurance tests that pushed his limits, rapid-fire problem-solving drills, and simulated spacewalks that tested his nerves and coordination. Through it all, Sheloran discovered that failure was not something to fear, but a step toward learning and growth. The Academy was not just teaching skills, but forging character. One evening, after a particularly grueling session, Sheloran sat alone, watching the stars twinkle beyond the training dome's glass ceiling. The quiet beauty of the cosmos reminded him why he had come so far: to be part of something greater than himself, to represent humanity's place among the stars. He understood now that being human meant more than physical strength or intelligence. It was about resilience, hope, and the ability to keep trying, even when the odds seemed stacked against him. The next morning, news arrived that the secret exploratory program he had overheard about earlier was opening applications for a new round of cadets. The selection process promised to be fierce, and only those who showed exceptional skill and character would be chosen. Sheloran's mind raced with possibilities and doubts. Could he be ready for such a challenge? His instructors encouraged him to apply, noting his recent success and the way he kept a clear head in a crisis. Meanwhile, some cadets whispered that the program was dangerous and mysterious, reserved for only the best of the best, leaving the rest to wonder if it was even real. Sheloran's determination grew stronger. He knew that to make his mark, he had to push beyond the boundaries of what was expected. As the deadline approached, he devoted every spare moment to honing his skills, studying alien languages, mastering new technologies, practicing simulated negotiations that tested his empathy and creativity. Suspense built around him like a quiet storm whispers about the program, the mysterious missions it entailed, and the lives it had changed or ended. Yet Sheloran refused to let fear rule him. Instead, he focused on what he could control, his own efforts and attitude. Every small victory, every lesson learned, was a step toward a future where he might finally prove that humans from humble beginnings could rise to greatness. Through moments of exhaustion and doubt, Sheloran held on to a simple truth. The Academy was more than a school. It was a crucible where humanity's unique spark could shine brightest among the stars. He was determined to make sure his light would not be dimmed. Sheloran's graduation day arrived faster than he'd expected. A mix of excitement and nervousness swirling inside him as he stood among his fellow cadets. The ceremony was grand, held in a vast hall filled with proud families, alien dignitaries, and high-ranking officers of the Terran Republic. Yet, amidst the celebration, Sheloran's mind raced ahead to the real challenge, his first mission. Assigned to a diplomatic escort mission in a distant, newly contacted star system, Sheloran found himself aboard the sleek starship Endeavor, surrounded by a crew as diverse as the galaxy itself. There was Kale, a tall reptilian strategist with sharp eyes and a quiet manner. Lyri, a graceful and thoughtful telepathic empath from the water world of Norelia, and Javon, a sturdy engineer from a planet where machines and nature lived in harmony. Each of them came with their own customs and ways of thinking, and Sheloran quickly realized that success would depend not only on technical skill, but on understanding and respecting these differences. The journey to the distant system was long, and tension grew as unexpected technical difficulties began to arise. The ship's navigation system suffered strange glitches, and communications with the Republic's command center became unreliable. Some crew members voiced concerns, suggesting the system might be haunted by ancient alien technology or affected by cosmic interference. Sheloran, however, approached the problems with his human curiosity, studying the data and asking questions that others had overlooked. His adaptability shone when he suggested recalibrating the navigation algorithms based on the unique energy patterns detected nearby, a bold idea that paid off by stabilizing the ship's course. As the Endeavor drew closer to its destination, the diplomatic challenges became clearer. The newly contacted species, the Valari, had a culture unlike any Sheloran had studied. They communicated not with words, but through colors and subtle shifts. In light emitted from their skin, misunderstanding their signals could lead to offense, or worse, conflict. During their first meeting, Sheloran noticed one of the Valari elders' flickering colors that seemed to express confusion and concern, but the official translators misread it as anger. Trust was fragile, and the situation threatened to unravel, drawing on his empathy and patience. Sheloran took a different approach. He observed quietly and mirrored the Valaria's color patterns with the help of the ship's holographic systems, creating a simple but effective language bridge. This small act of respect and effort softened tensions, opening a door to real communication. As days passed, Sheloran's human qualities of genuine curiosity and willingness to learn helped build bridges where others saw walls. When a sudden power failure plunged part of the ship into darkness, threatening the mission's success, Sheloran remained calm and led the crew through coordinated repairs, encouraging teamwork rather than blame. His ability to stay focused under pressure earned him quiet admiration from even the most skeptical crewmates. Yet the mission was far from over. In the final negotiation sessions, Sheloran faced a moment of high stakes. The Valari Council hesitated. To commit to an alliance, wary of past encounters with other species that had led to exploitation or war. Sensing their fear, Sheloran shared stories from humanity's history tales of mistakes, growth, and hope, offering a vision of cooperation. Rather than conquest, his sincerity touched the Valari in a way no formal speech could. When the alliance was finally signed, it was not just a diplomatic victory, but a testament to humanity's unique spirit, the ability to connect, to adapt, and to hope beyond the limits of fear. As the Endeavor set course back to the Terran Republic, Sheloran stood on the observation deck, watching the stars streak by. he felt a quiet pride, knowing his first mission had been more than a test. It was a step toward a future where humans, no matter their origin, could shape the galaxy with courage and kindness. Still, he understood that many challenges awaited him and his people in the vast unknown. But for now, Sheloran allowed himself a moment of quiet triumph, ready to face whatever came next with the same determination that had brought him this far. Sheloran's reputation at the Terran Republic grew steadily, but it was not until he was assigned to a deep space exploration team that his true potential began to reveal itself. The team's mission was to survey uncharted star systems at the edge of Republic space, a task that usually followed strict protocols and well-established procedures. However, Sheloran's sharp eyes and curious mind soon caught something unusual strange. Patterns hidden in the readings of long-abandoned space stations and derelict ships scattered across multiple systems. At first, the senior officers dismissed his observations as coincidences or sensor errors. But Sheloran's persistence led him to connect the dots, revealing fragments of an ancient technology that seemed far beyond the current understanding of any known civilization. Unlike the standard reports filled with technical jargon, Sheloran approached the mystery differently. He noticed symbols etched in strange arrangements, energy signatures that pulsed rhythmically, and unusual alignments of space debris that formed patterns almost like a message waiting to be decoded. His approach was unconventional, often seen as distracting by more pragmatic members of the team, but the more Sheloran dug, the more it became clear that the scattered clues were pieces of a puzzle spanning several star systems. The excitement was tinged with caution. If such technology truly existed, it could change everything the Republic knew about the galaxy and its own place within it.
Oh.
Late nights in the ship's lab were spent cross-referencing ancient texts with data from the exploration scans, while debates and questions followed every new discovery. Some speculated the technology belonged to a lost civilization that had vanished without a trace, while others warned of potential dangers in awakening powers beyond human control. Sheloran, however, remained steady, driven by a deep belief that understanding this puzzle was key not just to knowledge, but to survival and progress. As the team followed the trail from one star system to the next, tension mounted among the crew. Strange energy bursts interfered with communication, and at times instruments failed without explanation, as if the ancient technology was reacting to their presence. Sheloran's calm under pressure and logical thinking helped the crew navigate these unknown hazards. His human ability to think outside rigid rules and embrace uncertainty became invaluable, allowing the team to adapt quickly and avoid disaster. One breakthrough came when Sheloran deciphered a sequence of light patterns emitted by a hidden device on a remote moon. The pattern matched a long-forgotten language spoken by an extinct species mentioned only in the oldest Republic archives. This discovery unlocked a map pointing to a central Huban enormous hidden station believed to be the control center of the ancient technology. The revelation sent ripples through the Republic's scientific community, and Sheloran found himself thrust into the spotlight. Despite the pressure, he kept his focus on the task, knowing that rushing could mean losing the chance to understand the full scope of the mystery. As the expedition approached the coordinates indicated by the map, the crew faced new challenges. The station was cloaked by an energy field that resisted all attempts at scanning and communication. Many on board suggested abandoning the mission, worried about the risks and unknown forces at play. But Sheloran's unwavering resolve convinced the captain to try one more approach, using a unique frequency modulation based on the patterns he had decoded, hoping to bypass the energy shield. The moment the ship's instruments detected a faint opening in the shield, excitement mixed with tension filled the air. Entering the station was like stepping into a different world. Inside, the crew found advanced technology that defied explanation machines. That seemed alive, halls filled with symbols that shifted and changed, and a quiet hum that echoed like a heartbeat through the station. Sheloran's fascination grew as he realized that technology was not just powerful, but intelligent. The puzzle was far more complex than anyone had imagined, suggesting that the ancient builders had not only mastered technology but had a deep understanding of the universe's hidden laws. Working with the crew, Sheloran began piecing together the station's functions. uncovering data archives that revealed the ancient civilization's goals: peace, exploration, and a hope to unite different species through shared knowledge. The discovery inspired Sheloran, fueling his belief that humanity's role in the galaxy could be one of builders and connectors, not conquerors or destroyers. However, the mystery was far from solved. The station held secrets that were both a promise and a warning, hinting at challenges that could test the Republic's values and resolve in ways never before imagined. As Sheloran looked out from the station's observation deck at the swirling stars, he understood that the galactic puzzle was not just about technology, but about choices how the Republic and humanity itself would choose to face the future. His journey from a mining colony to this moment of discovery was a testament to human spirit, reminding all who heard his story that even the smallest voices could unlock the greatest mysteries. The path ahead was uncertain, but Sheloran was ready to lead the way, carrying with him the hope that curiosity, courage, and cooperation could light the way through the darkest parts of the cosmos. Sheloran stood quietly in the grand chamber of the Republic's Council of Exploration, his eyes tracing the stars that gleamed through the vast windows overlooking the cosmic expanse. It had been a long journey from the dusty mining colony where he was born to this moment where his voice carried weight among the galaxy's most respected leaders. The council was no ordinary gathering. It was a place where species from across the stars came together to make decisions that shaped the future of countless worlds. Sheloran's presence here was a symbol not just of personal success, but of humanity's rise from the underestimated to the indispensable. He remembered how skeptical some had been at the academy when he first arrived, how his origins were seen as a weakness rather than a strength. But his unyielding perseverance, his ability to see possibilities where others saw obstacles, and his deep respect for all life had earned him allies across species and earned a reputation that could no longer be ignored. His journey had not been easy. He had faced cultural barriers, technical failures, and moments when giving up seemed the simpler choice. Yet each challenge had only deepened his resolve. The alliance he helped forge with the Volari, the mysteries he uncovered about ancient technology, his unwavering belief in cooperation had proven time and again that humanity's spirit is not just resilient but inventive and endlessly hopeful. Today, as he addressed the council, Sheloran spoke not only for humans, but for all who dreamed of peace and progress in a galaxy often shadowed by uncertainty. His words carried the weight of experience and the promise of a future where differences were celebrated rather than feared. The discussions were intense questions about new explorations, ethical dilemmas, and the balance of power filled the air, but Sheloran's calm presence guided conversations toward understanding and collaboration. Some council members, wary of change, challenged his ideas, yet he met opposition with patience and thoughtful reasoning, winning respect through dialogue rather than force. Outside the chamber, news of Sheloran's achievements spread quickly across the Republic. Stories of a young recruit from a forgotten world rising to become a leading voice inspired countless others who believed their own dreams were too small. His journey became a beacon of hope, proof that the Republic valued courage and character above all. As new missions launched under his guidance, Sheloran worked tirelessly to ensure that humanity's role in the galaxy was one of partnership and exploration rather than dominance. He encouraged young cadets from diverse backgrounds to push boundaries and embrace the unknown, reminding them that every discovery began with a question and every alliance with respect. Yet despite his successes, Sheloran remained humble, always aware that the galaxy was vast and full of mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. He often found himself reflecting on the long nights at the academy, the challenges of his first mission, and the ancient puzzles that had tested his limits. These memories fueled his commitment to lead with empathy and vision. As the stars outside shimmered in silent witness, Sheloran knew that the path ahead was uncertain, filled with dangers and wonders beyond imagining. But he also knew that humanity's place among the stars was secure not because of strength or weapons, but because of a spirit that refused to give up, that sought connection in a universe vast and strange. The Terran Republic was no longer just a collection of planets. It was a symbol of hope and resilience, force to be reckoned with because of people like Sheloran who believed in the power of unity. Standing among the galaxy's greatest minds and leaders, Sheloran felt a quiet pride, knowing that his journey was far from over. Each new horizon called for courage and creativity, and he was ready to meet the future with open eyes and an open heart. Humanity had found its place among the stars, and with Sheloran leading the way, the galaxy watched as this new chapter unfolded, one filled with promise, challenge, and the endless possibility of discovery.